In this video, we're only going to focus on one verb, and it's what you see circled here. You notice it's written twice, but each instance has different vowel pointings. So this introduces the phenomenon called cative carre. Cative carre means what is written, or cative, and what is read, or the carre. Many times in the Hebrew Bible, the consonants for a word in the body of a text, or the ketiv, they were different than the consonants that were to be read, or the kare. Before we go any further, the verse that you see on the screen right now is from the Accordance Bible software. I'm going to come back to this screen in a minute because Accordance notes Ketiv Kare differently. But I want to show you how Ketiv Kare appears in your printed Hebrew Bibles. So I'll be showing you scanned images from two editions. The first is the Stuttgart, or the BHS, and the Leningrad, or the Dotan edition. And the first image I'll show you is from the Stuttgart. Okay, what you see is the first verses of Ruth, chapter 1 from the BHS edition. And before we talk about Ketiv Kare, I want to identify real quick all that extra stuff you see surrounding the body of the text. What you see on the margin, those are Masoretic notes, talking about how often a word occurs. This is where you'll find your Ketiv Kare and some other things. And these little notations are Aramaic. And I'm going to refer you to a neat little resource that will help you understand what these mean. On the bottom you have two layers of notes. The first layer, these are also Masoretic notes. Now the second layer, these are from the editors of BHS. These are their text critical notes. But again, we're only going to be worried about the notes on the side because this is where our Ketiv Kare are found. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to find Ruth 1:8. Here's where 8 starts. Here's where it ends. The verb in question is right here, which is nice. It's right near our margin. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. I want to note a couple of things. First, look at our verb. We should be thrown off. And why is that? Well, look at our consonants. We have yod, ayin, we have seen, and hey. But we only have two vowels. We have two patahs. So something seems a little off. If you look above, you see we have a little circle. This is a Masoretic notation that is saying we need to look off to the margins. So the Masoretes are alerting the reader. And so we come over to the margin, and you see this kof right here with the little dot above it. That is our kare. And so the Masoretes are telling us that the consonants that are written in the text are not to be used. Now they wanted to preserve the integrity of the consonantal text, so they didn't change them. So they put the correct consonants off into the margin. And so here's our correct consonants. You notice it does not have the hey. Now the vowels that we are to use for the correct reading, those are found in the text. And so the two patahs are to be applied to the consonants in the margin. And so what we should have is yod, patah, ayin, patah, seen, ya'as. This is what is to be read and what is to be used when you read and translate your verse. So again, you should be thrown off by the funny vowels, and there will be other Ketiv Kare. The vowel pattern will be quite strange, and so, but the Masoretes are going to give you a little circle that should throw your eyes to the margin. And then the BHS edition, look for that kof with a dot above it. And then above the kof are your correct consonants. And so we're going to look real quick at an image of the Dotan edition or the Leningrad. Okay, what you see here is a scan image from the Leningrad. This is, again, the first 20 verses of Ruth 1. You notice right off the bat that it is what I call a cleaner text, and by that I mean there's not all those Masoretic notes on the side or the bottom, and you don't have the text critical notes of editors on the bottom as well. To me, the Dotan or the Leningrad edition is easier on the eyes. The print's a little bigger. I like to use this edition for my reading. That being said, let's move on to Katif Kare. Your Katif Kare, again, will be off to the side. So let's zoom in a little closer. In this edition, it is a little more difficult finding where the verses begin and end. Here we see the number 8 off to the side, which means on this line the verse begins. So here's the end of verse 7. Ruth 1:8 begins here and ends here. The verb that we're talking about is here. So in the Leningrad edition, you notice that it's just consonants with no vowels. And so when we come off to the side here, we get the correct consonants along with its vowels. So the Katif Kare is noted a little bit different in the Leningrad edition. We have the consonants in the text with no vowels, but what's to be read, the Kare, is off to the side with the correct vowels and consonants. And so now we're going to go back to the verse that I pulled from the Accordance Bible software. So finally, we're back to the verse that I pulled from the Accordance Bible software. The way Accordance notes Katif Kare, you have the consonants that are the Kativ that are written as you see here. The Kare, the correct reading, is set off in brackets. So when we pick up with this part of Ruth 1:8, I will be using the Kare, what's in brackets. Now generally the vowels for the Kativ, for the incorrect consonants, they're not given. The Masoretes don't give that. Usually we have to reconstruct the vowels for the Kativ. And Accordance, as you can see here, they've reconstructed the form with the vowels that you see here. But generally, the Masoretes do not give the vowels for the Kativ. They only give the vowels for the Kare. And so that is Katif Kare. Again, when we pick up with our analysis of Ruth 1:8, we're going to use the Kare in our reading.